Hello, everybody. Welcome to Superhumans of ECE. I'm very excited for this. It's going to be the first interview out of it. Before I go ahead and hand it over to my first Superhumans of ECE, I'd like to just introduce myself. My name is Mona Fakhri, and this project is really to create a platform for professionals in the field of children's developmental services and children's services to really come together. So today we're going to go ahead and explore some questions. I'll let my guest introduce herself. I would like to say she's one of my mentors. I've had the privilege of being one of her students before. So go ahead, Nikki, you can just tell us who you are, what you do for work, what are some of your credentials and backgrounds in this field.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Nikki Young. It's actually Nicole, but I go by Nikki. I do have my master's in psych, and I actually started with sociology, and which I've obtained at York University. And then I decided, you know what, I want to work with children and children with special needs and their families. So I went ahead and I got my ECE as well as my autism and behavior science diploma. And then I went ahead and did my master's after that. So what drove me to this field was that when I was backpacking in Asia after my sociology degree, I noticed that there were a lot of children that were in the orphanages who had special needs and were left unattended. So that kind of prompted me to go in and go back to school and learn about ways to support children in North America, where I live, and that was actually quite near and dear to me because I would like to have that as an impact and what I can do in terms of making a difference in someone's life and their families.
That's awesome. Wow, I did not know that about you. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Nikki, for sharing that. When did you do the backpacking?
I think right after my BA, so gosh, this was years ago because I'm right now.
You're not old. That's pretty cool, though. Wow,
So, yeah, but I did it for about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I traveled different parts of China, but I primarily stayed in Hong Kong. But when I went to China, that's when I really saw
That's
a lot
pretty
of kids
cool.
in need.
Okay, I think I might have missed this. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
It's
I totally
okay,
missed
no
that part.
worries. No.
So right now I am a resource consultant, and I work for a children's mental health agency, right now known as Asian Discovery Child and Family Center, but we are merging with East Metro Children's Services, so we are becoming Strides Toronto within this year.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for sharing that. So my first question, or technically second question for you, is what are some tools and strategies that you think you value most as a professional in this field, or that you incorporate into your work?
Honestly, the collaboration piece is a really big part for me.
Awesome.
I've noticed that when I was working as an ECE and then as a IBI therapist, that the collaboration was there, but not enough.
Yeah.
So coming into this role as a resource consultant, I get to work and wear different hats. So I get to collaborate with ECEs, and they're professional on their own, and I have a lot of strategies that we collaborate together. So for one of the examples that we do use is the visual aids, right?
Yeah.
Just being able to provide certain. Sorry.
It's okay.
Certain
It's a
types
little
of-
loud here, guys. We're in chorus, so I'll try and blank out some of the noises.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, incorporating different things that I've learned within my schooling and that work within a therapy setting has actually helped a lot too.
Awesome.
Yeah. The other piece is just being mindful about cultural background and the openness towards it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you do have to work with a diverse community, which in Toronto, that's what we do. I've experienced, families that are from the same sex, or individuals that are having a lifestyle change, and transgender, and I'm still learning a lot of the language behind that.
Yeah.
So please excuse me if I say something wrong.
No.
But that is something that I am trying to be mindful of, as well as the clinical jargon that we use.
Yeah.
And try to use it in a way that it would be that can be helpful to parents and for them to understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, and especially when we're thinking about, like, in our work
Yes.
as essentially early interventionists, right? When we write those hefty reports, and you kind of, like, for me anyways, right? I'm like, oh, like this sounds so professional and great, but then you're thinking about who needs to actually read this report and who is most important for, right? And it's the families, for them to really understand. I think that's really hard for me as a professional to catch myself and be like, it's not about impressing anybody. It's literally just so they understand and can apply those tools, right?
It's like right now, with the reports like you were saying.
Yeah. Those are always fun, aren't they?
It's still a work in progress for me
Yeah.
because I'm very colorful.
Yeah.
I do write a lot of jargon, and I do go back and then I have to change the words around so that it would be, easier for parents to read.
Mm-hmm.
And the other concept that we have to remember is that English is not always their first language.
Exactly.
And then when you put clinical terms on top of that, they miss the mark.
Yeah, and then you also think about, like, well, for me anyways, how do they receive that, right? If they hear something that's a term that they aren't familiar with, they might automatically, or might sometimes just turn away from service, right? That it's like, oh no, that's not who my child is, or whatever, like that's not how I feel like they associate with it. So I think we have to be really mindful of that. And since we're on the topic of like cultural and stuff like that, what do you think are some ways that you keep your biases in check? Okay, one bill's okay. Yeah.
She's just gonna put it at the front.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys, we just got our bills for Cora's. Okay, so we were talking about biases in check. Yeah, how do you think that you keep your bias in check? Because we all have them,
I
right?
think the main thing that I'm really grateful for is all the training that I've received within my agency.
Yeah.
And that, as well as going on the citywide training website through Humber.
Yeah.
There's a lot of training involved that we can access.
That's awesome.
And I like that, so I can definitely keep an open mind. And mind you, I am of Asian descent, but I'm born here. And a lot of families, when they see me, they think, oh, I can speak a particular language, and I can't. Right? So they have their own biases too. They form their own perception.
Of course.
So I do have to remind them, if you need a translator, if you need an interpreter, please let me know, because I don't speak Mandarin, for example. I speak Cantonese, or I can't read and write. And that's a big component within our job, especially working within, say, Scarborough. Right? There's a lot of families that come from China that don't understand English or even understand a diagnosis of what it means and what the future holds for their child. So sometimes I do be respectful and mindful of the fact that this is, what's going on, and then I do ask if they need an interpreter or a translator.
Yeah. And that's really inclusive. That's awesome. Yeah. In regards to you were talking about the citywide training. There's actually, for people who are listening, sometimes like they'll have free trainings too that you can go ahead and done. I've done them as an educator before too, or just as an early intervention student. Yeah, just go to them, and some of them are like $20 too. So really utilize that. That's really awesome. Okay. So my next question is really for us all to kind of see what are some different things people are doing to add to their kind of self-care toolbox, what I like to call. So what are some self-care methods you think that you use to keep yourself motivated in your practice?
Well, the weather's kind of crappy right now, so
definitely
usually
agree.
I like to go for walks, long walks, but I do find trails to do that, because I find with like the cars and whatnot, it's really loud.
Yeah.
So having some peace and quiet to myself and just kind of gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're kind of submerged into doing what you're doing, you forget yourself.
Yeah.
And when you kind of put yourself in check, then you're able to kind of facilitate the things that you want.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I tend to do a lot of talk with my peers or my friends.
Yeah.
And I ask them, because they are educators themselves as well. Some of them are teachers, some of them
that
are
collaboration
psychologists.
piece, yeah.
The whole collaboration piece. If this is what I'm going through, what should I do? And on a personal note, it's really important to learn like deep breathing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Love
sometimes
that.
I tell myself too, especially when I go into a center and I know that the center could be difficult. I keep myself in check. I'm like, it's okay, I'll be fine. I do a lot of self-talk that way.
Yeah.
But for myself, in terms of being zen, it's a lot of like the working out. I knit. I do origami.
That's awesome. She does great origami, guys. She used to bring it to class. I love them. They're awesome.
Or I bake. So, I do things that help myself away from my job, because sometimes you need to take away from your work.
Yeah, that outlet, right?
That outlet.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing those. Those are a lot of cool things that we can add to our self-care
I'm an
toolbox,
oddball. It's
Nikki.
okay. I embrace the weird.
This is why she's one of my first ones on this little talk. Okay, so the second last question is what is one way or a few ways that you think that our field can improve? It's a loaded question,
a
right?
loaded
Like even though it's a
question.
simple question, it's loaded because there's a lot we can, I guess, think of.
I think the fact that with our CPL, I think that's a big component
Ooh.
that I struggle with
Yeah.
because you have to go online and you have to do a lot of things
Mhm.
just to kind of update that. And we're already as an ECE, you're already doing a lot of documentation. You're
Yeah,
already
it's
doing
true.
this and you're already that. In some ways, I feel like
Mhm.
it takes away from the client itself. So
Mhm.
you're looking at playing with the kids and trying to facilitate certain things, but at
Yeah.
the same time, on the side you're documenting. So are we documenting or are we trying to facilitate learning here?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
that is a big component that I struggle with in terms of what we can change. Like
Mhm.
how can we find a happy medium? I feel like it's quite extreme right now.
To have
Everything
this,
needs to be this.
yeah.
Everything needs to be that. Where's that wiggle room? Where's that
Yeah.
flexibility? Right? Because at the same time, if we're doing play base,
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, we're documenting this, we're documenting that, we're doing this.
And it's like,
that.
are we doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
right? Are we
What are we
simply
doing it for?
Yeah, what's the purpose? Are we simply doing it just to document something in our continuous professional
Yeah,
learning?
right.
Or is it actually because we're adding, knowledge to ourselves and we're learning and we're actually facilitating
So
these things?
and after that, writing it all down, where does it go?
Yeah, what
Right?
happens,
Like, what
to it?
happens
What's
to
the
it?
purpose of it? And I think it's so important for us that are in the field to question those, because it's simple to just, not simple, it's difficult to just do it, but
Mhm.
it's important to ask what's the purpose of us doing all this, right?
Like I understand the purpose, like in
Mhm.
terms of like trying to better ourselves,
Right.
but at the same time, where does it go?
Where does it go?
Yeah.
How does that get utilized, right? That's awesome. I actually
That's my
don't.
thought
I feel like
about
I
it.
haven't given too much thought to it. I just kind of do it.
Because it's,
And
like,
that's
it's
important,
mandated,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we have
just-
to do it.
We have to do it, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, the CPL is a continuous professional
Professional
learning that we have to do, and by we I mean registered early childhood educators, to be able to kind of continue being registered with the college,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's good, right?
I mean, a great way to update that is to actually go on the city website, the
Mhm.
citywide training with Humber, and they give you the certificate. It goes right into your CPL, so that's
Oh,
nice. You
okay.
can see it once
Yeah.
you log in, and it's great because then it kind of keeps track of certain things
Mhm.
aside from documenting what you're documenting yourself.
Do you mean if you do individual type of trainings,
Yeah,
or the
some
CPL training?
CPL training.
Okay.
Right, like you go online and then it's actually there.
Oh,
So whenever
okay.
I go for trainings, it's already in there
There.
for me.
Yeah.
But on the side, if I go for any other type of training that's
Yeah.
not part of it, I will write it down in a little notebook, so it
Yeah.
kind of keeps track of what I'm doing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to keep organized, because I feel like everybody's still kind of, learning it and struggling with it and understanding how to do it. But I think it's good to question what happens
What
to
happens
it after,
to it?
right?
Yeah, that's a
right?
big,
That
big component.
purposeful-
That's a big
yeah.
piece. I think the other piece is, accepting training. That's a
Mhm.
big one because as a resource, we are also mandated to do a certain amount of, say, program consultations
Yeah.
or trainings and whatnot. But when we kind of think about that, we have to have collaboration with the childcare center.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the time because all these things are going on or stuff is happening,
Mhm.
where do we have the time for it, right?
Right,
Because
yeah.
some
True.
childcare centers don't want to pay after hours as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
That's
as
true.
much as us as resource want to do it, it's
Yeah.
also the collaboration piece between us and the childcare and whether
Yeah.
they
How
want
do you
to do it or
provide
not.
that? Yeah. And like, are they going to pay for that and all
Yeah.
that? Right.
Or are they
That's very
willing
true.
to just give the time
Yeah, to do that.
or accept what we're training on?
Yeah.
What we're
Exactly.
training them on.
Yeah, like how they're taking it in, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about with that. Thanks for sharing that, Nikki. So my last question, you didn't bring it in with you today, but basically I'm asking my guests if they could bring something or a picture of something that symbolizes kind of their practice as a professional. So if you could tell us about that, because you are going to send me a picture of it. So, and because this is an audio, but I will have it in the background of the video, and I'll also have it on Instagram. So if Nikki, you want to tell us what that something is?
Well, mind you, I also have to ask particular client
Okay,
if I'm allowed to share, and I'm sure they
Okay.
won't mind.
So no confidential, just
yeah.
kind of, yeah.
It's my first client I've had in the field when I was working as an intensive behavior therapist. And, I bump into the family from time to time. They keep in touch with me through email. They
Yeah.
say how I'm doing and whatnot. Still remembers me, so it's been like 12 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, but just seeing him.
You must have really made a big impact, right? So remember you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. He's a sweet kid. He's a giant now. But I remember the things that I've taught him, like the simple as tying his shoelaces.
Yeah.
And that's hard for an individual with autism to have like fine motor issues, and it's nice. So he made me realize that I can make a change.
Oh, that's
Because
incredible.
now he's trying to find like a part-time, like a greeter or something.
Wow.
Like there's certain things that he's doing, and it's great because I remember I taught him about money, and tax is a big thing, right? Like learning about taxes. But he knows how to go up to a cashier and ask for certain things and pay for it and get the change back. He can go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I think that's amazing because a lot of the time in our work we don't get to see
we don't get
what
to
it
see
looks like after, and it's not about us, but it's nice to be able to stay
right?
connected and see that, right?
So he's older now, and I found out that last March he's very good with maps. So he actually took the bus from this area
Yeah.
all the way to Vaughan Mills by himself and back.
That's incredible.
That's a great, that just blew my mind.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So he figured it out all by himself.
Yeah.
He didn't need a GPS. He didn't he just looked at the
That's
map and he
incredible.
remembered. The
So does
memory.
it make you think that whatever kind of early intervention methods or stuff that you had done with the family, do you think that they continued that if
Yes,
those were kind
I
of
know
the progress?
that they did.
Right?
Just because of the messages back and forth and how they keep in touch with me and what they're doing right now. Allowing him to just push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
Let him try. Let him do that. So he does the laundry. Like I've taught him how to fold and all that. He does it all on his own.
That's
so
awesome.
It's nice. Like these life skills, right? It's not
Yeah,
about
for
learning
sure.
math. It's about how can you sustain on your own.
Exactly.
And this is what he's doing right now. Like he knows that when he goes out, he needs to lock the door. He knows to call at a certain time to come home. He knows which bus route to take. So those are the things that we kind of practiced before. I would ask him. Kind of like a fluency test,
Yeah.
Like, what do you do this? What do you do that? And all that kind of stuff, right?
That's incredible.
So, just the fact that he's able to, as simple as making an omelet or doing the laundry, folding his clothes, like those are the things that I care about.
Yeah, of course.
Because
Yeah,
he needs
those are
to-
daily tasks,
Yeah.
right? Things that you're going to
These
encounter
are ways we
every day.
take for granted.
We
which
do.
is
We
really
think it comes
hard.
so easily, but for a child with ASD or another type of developmental delay or anything like that, right? It's very difficult for those little things. So that's great. Oh,
So I have a
that's
picture
awesome.
of him, and it's nice. Like
That is. Well, hopefully we do get to see that, but if not, we know what it symbolizes, so that's really awesome. So Nikki, I'd like to thank you for joining us in today.
Anytime.
It was really lovely to chat with you. And for people who are listening or reading the caption, if you do want to be a part of Superhumans of ECE, you can just directly contact me. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Superhumans of ECE. And yeah, I'm going to sign off now.
all right.
Thanks, Nikki. Bye, guys.
Bye.